Guys, I'm just letting you know, this is gold. This is gold. These 3 steps: a clear message that converts, an offer that inspires your audience to action, okay, which is what we just went over. And now we're going to go part 3 here. This is every business, if they understand these 3 things, they will succeed.
So what are the key components to marketing and sales? How do some of the most successful entrepreneurs and business leaders set up freedom frameworks that we all got into business for in the first place? How did they find the time, energy, and resources to launch and scale strong? And how do Rockstar entrepreneurs and business leaders with that champion mindset align their time, money, and energy in a way that will allow us to reach what we set out to achieve? These are the key questions, and this podcast will give you the answers. My name is Brian Chamberlain. This is the Convert on Command podcast. Thanks for listening to the Convert on Command podcast, sponsored by Convert on Command and Mission Ignition Marketing. If you want to ignite your business and increase your sales, be sure to visit convertoncommand.pro and set up a time that works best for you in the calendar at the bottom of the page under the latest feature video. Yo, welcome to the Convert on Command podcast. I am Brian Chamberlain, and I got my partner here, Zach Schenke. He is an absolute beast. I'm just so excited. We're going over chapter 8 today in our Passion to Profits book. Chapter 8 is called Systems That Sell. And for those of you, if you're here for the first time, like we do every week, we just want to encourage you, go back, check out chapter 1 and dive into this. We're literally helping people right now turn their passion into profits. We've got over 20 people enrolled, and weekly we do a weekly coaching program, inner circle coaching program with our Passion to Profit rock stars, where we are literally helping guide them through with this book in conjunction with a course and training and all that kind of fun stuff. They got the right software. They got everything they need to turn their passion into profits. And so, yeah, like I'm just super fired up to be doing this with Zach. This is our second podcast session together, and we're really looking forward to continuously growing this community and helping people, be able to, again, turn their passion into profits using the right marketing and sales methods. So Zach, how you doing, man?
Doing great, dude. I'm excited to be back. This is so fun. So fun.
Yeah, man, I've been waiting for us to be able to do this podcast together for some time now, and it's just awesome to be able to do this every week. And I think it's going to be really fun as we start getting more guests on and working on some ideas to potentially even at some point having our big groups together, kind of like I love marketing kind of thing, right? And for those of you that have never heard of I Love Marketing before, we're so inspired by guys like Joe Polish, and what's the other individual is Joe Polish and Dean Jackson. Those guys are amazing. We learn so much every week from soaking in that information. I'll tell you what, we wouldn't be who we are today if we didn't kind of take a lot of the same methodologies from those guys and driving our mission, vision, and values, which you would learn about in the previous chapter. So definitely go back to chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. We are in chapter 8 today, and I'm going to dive right into it. I'm going to get started. So just a precursor here. We co-wrote this chapter, and basically I wrote a good chunk of it, and then Zach wrote a chunk of it as well at the end. Now, it's important to understand, because we're going to be going over the 3 specific pieces of like marketing and sales, how they kind of come together as a bridge. But to offer some context as to why we're speaking to these specific things the way that we are, is I'm kind of like the front and middle man, if you will, and Zach kind of comes in at the tail end of the middle, and I would say that we meet in the middle, and then he's kind of more of a back end individual. Yeah. So I'm the front of the business, and he's the fulfillment. So I'm more the relationship side. He's the fulfillment side. So I'm the sales guy. He's the marketing and fulfillment. Well, we meet in the middle with the marketing as well. But that's kind of the dynamics of our team and why we speak to this the way that we are today. So I'm really excited to have you here. Again, chapter 8, systems that sell. So in the last chapter, we talked about the 3 steps that are needed in order to make your marketing profitable. That's what Zach was talking about. It was absolutely amazing. We literally had Eric from our group say, it was so good, I felt like I was drinking from a fire hose. So awesome. Great feedback. But in this chapter, we're going to cover the bridge between marketing and sales. And there are 3 simple steps to marketing and sales, much like there was 3 steps that were needed in order to make your marketing profitable. We're going to be going over again the 3 simple steps to marketing and sales that will help you be successful in whatever you decide to embark upon in business, as well as setting up systems that sell around these 3 simple steps. Okay, so let's break down the 3 simple steps to marketing and sales. Number 1, creating a clear message that converts. And this was actually a big chunk of what we went over a little bit last week. Number 2 is creating an irresistible offer that inspires your audience to action. And number 3 is creating a strong and seamless deliverable system that over-delivers on both experience and expectation. So there are obviously multiple layers in each one of these points. However, when you master these 3 points, it will not matter if you decide to sell face masks, toilet paper, makeup, insurance, real estate, or music. These 3 steps will set you up for success over and over again. Now, we actually covered step number 1 in the previous chapter, as I've already prefaced earlier, but this is a fun draft number 1. So let's move into step number 2. Okay. And it says 1 here. Let me fix it on the screen. I'll deal with that later. Anyway, number 2, creating an irresistible offer that inspires your audience to action. Now, the important aspect of creating an irresistible offer is to understand your audience fully, which is why the 3 steps we went over in the last chapter are so important when it comes to creating a clear message. You need to understand your audience in order to position both the message to market as well as your offer. They work hand in hand. Now, if you're positioning a tangible product, the rules are a little different depending on your strategy. But ultimately, psychologically, you simply need to create a no-brainer purchase for your audience. And you'll see this all the time at grocery stores. Example, this is normally XYZ dollars, but today you can get it for only XYZ dollars, right?
Yeah.
3 for 1, like another one is like 3 for 1 if you act now. Like the other day I was literally in the grocery store, and I actually, was going in there for sparkling water. And that's what it was. It was like 3 for 1. And it was like so magical for me in that moment. But if I wouldn't have even been going in there for that, and I walked by knowing that my wife digs that, 3 for 1's a no-brainer. It just makes sense. Why wouldn't I just do that? Right? So that's how you get things off the shelf. These are simple ways. That's what it just said. These are simple ways to just get things off shelves right away by creating a no-brainer scenario. So another way to really drive revenue is to create what we call a no-brainer offer stack. Now, when creating any kind of offer stack, especially high ticket, it's important to position your product value to be about 10 times the asking price. And it's also important to justify why in a way that makes sense to your audience. Now, an example for gym equipment. And I just want to preface this. The reason why we've been talking a lot about fitness and a lot about weight loss and all that kind of stuff is because we are actually embarking on one ourselves. We got an inner circle group member who's acting as our coach right now. And we're going through a dad bod blast challenge. We haven't figured out exactly what we're going to call it yet, but that's what we're going for. So the reason why these examples are here is because we're literally going through our own journey with this. So if at any point there's anybody that, you're wondering why, that's the reason why we constantly kind of circling back to
Top
this.
of mind.
It's top of mind. Top of mind. Yes. Thank you. So example for gym equipment here is, I literally have a stack of brand new rip cut dumbbells in the back of my office right now. You can't actually see it, or maybe you can right here if I go pointing at it. right there. And if you're listening to this on the podcast, sorry, you couldn't see that. It's so awkward. Anyway, let's keep going. So 10 to 90 pound adjustable weights. Okay. So let's just say the value of this is like $1,200. And then the guy I'm buying from with this Rip Cuts brand, and this is literally, he's creating his own custom stuff. It's amazing. So 10 to 90 pound adjustable weights, normally $1,200 value, right? Weight stand, normally, I haven't figured out what that number is yet. Let's say that it's, let's just say that it's $500. Okay. And then a bench, normally $350 for a total value of, what would that total value be, Zach? I've got it all wrong here. I forgot to put this together. 350 plus 500 plus 1,200 would be
2,050.
2,050. Okay, let's just say it's 2,050 total value. But if you act now, it's
200.
Okay, that would be the 10% example, wouldn't it? Yeah, well, that's not what happened here. What an epic fail. Oh my gosh. But the point, I got to fix that. Anyways, this is a rough draft. We are going to get this all fixed up and show you a better example for a stack. But I said here,
actually, the stack and building out a stack is actually going to be part of chapter 9. And yeah, so this is fine. I mean, yeah, it'll be good.
You know, I was actually supposed to talk with Zach about this before the show today, and I forgot. So welcome to the imperfections of being human and having fun.
Oh my gosh, so imperfect. Wait till we get to my section of this chapter.
Yeah, but anyways, so I said here, can you see how much more enticing it is to buy a stack package like this versus buying each piece individually? And once we actually have this nicely pieced together here, it'll make sense to you, I promise. But for right now, enjoy the epic fail and make fun of us on YouTube. we love the traffic. So now, if at the same time you've already added the context with a clear message leading up to this point by pinpointing the biggest pains of your audience the way that Zach covered, along with the biggest results that the individuals are wanting to achieve and the biggest objections and challenges that they were going through, how much more desire and drive for the purchase would there be? Can you see the psychological difference between positioning an offer in this way opposed to slogging an MLM product? Yeah, I had to poke fun just because I've been there. I know what it's like to push one product with a bad marketing plan and no justified reason other than you'll make money off your cousin. I just thought that was a funny line. So let's talk about creating a value stack for your services. This is where we need to get a little bit more detailed with why the value is what it is. And as Zach said, by the way, in the next chapter, we're going to go into more details, and I'm really looking forward to how Zach tackles this. This is like my viewpoint. And again, we're just going based off the three steps of marketing and sales here. Okay. So before I do that, let's talk about the difference between high ticket and low ticket. Okay. Yeah. Services can be a wide range of price points, of course, but I'm going to give you a high ticket example coming up. I say at the end of this chapter. Okay. So before I do that, let's talk about the difference between high ticket and low ticket. Here's me jumping around like crazy once again, because again, this is a rough draft. High ticket. Thank you, Zach. Thank you so much. I'm just so glad you're here to pick me up as I continue to fall. High ticket is typically anything over $1,000. Okay. Low ticket is anything under $1,000. And for the sake of understanding some examples moving forward, there is also what we would consider to be a sneezable offer, which is $100 or less, typically between $37 and $47. Now that you understand the difference between price points, it's important to understand that there's no difference between selling a $37 product or a $3,700 product. The energy exchange is the same if you can wrap your head around a couple of things. Now imagine for a second, it says fur. Obviously, I'm talking to dogs here. Kidding. Don't get your stuff in a bunch. So now imagine for a second that you could actually make $3,700 in the same time it took you to sell a $37 product. take it a step further and imagine that you can make $37,000 in the same time it took you to make $37. Now, I bet the first question that came to mind is, how is that even possible? The first place to start is understanding that everybody values time and money differently. If everyone values time and money differently, should you offer everyone you come in contact with that wants your services the same offer? Absolutely not. This is where it's important to build what we call a 3-bucket system. And so I'm going to take Tyler's from our inner circle group to put like a photo illustration. I've got it here in what do you call these things?
I don't know.
You talk about them all the time in parentheses, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I've got it in here in parentheses. It says insert 3-bucket photo illustration. Okay. So the first bucket is a DIY, do it yourself bucket. The second bucket is a DWY, do it with you bucket. And the third bucket is a DFY, do it for you bucket. So there's some industries that you can only have 2 buckets. Fitness, for example, does not have a DFY bucket. So there are exceptions to this 3-bucket system. But overall, if you're providing a service, you should have up to 3 options for ways to serve. At the very least, 2 options. The question now is, where do you start to make the most impact and income possible? Now, the fastest way to make money if you do not have money is to focus on one-on-one. We were actually just having this conversation the other day, right, Zach?
Yeah.
So if you focus on one-on-one coaching or services, you can then repurpose for group products and services as you prove the results. Now, this is very important. You need to have a proof of concept before you move to group products and services. So many people make the mistake of focusing on building a course first, wasting valuable time and money to then sell said products and courses that lead to frustrated clients that aren't getting the value they thought they signed up for. And I can't tell you how many times I've spent thousands upon thousands of dollars on courses that I thought would help me get to the next level, to just walk away wildly disappointed for wasting my time, money, and energy because the course had massive holes in it. So it's very important to prove your service concepts one-on-one. Build multiple case studies and testimonies. And my suggestion would be at least 3. People like to see more than one validation story behind why you are the best investment for them. 3 is the magic number from a design standpoint as well as a psychology standpoint for peace of mind. Once again, be sure to record the entire process with each and every client. Record all of your sessions to come back to so that you can repurpose content as needed. Just like we're doing here, extremely imperfectly, as like we're illustrating it as we go here. This is so important, okay? So this will help you build your course as you are serving and making money. Once you've proven the concepts, you can now move into group coaching. Now, the price points for each bucket are obviously much different. Typically, your DIY products will be low ticket, ranging anything from $37 all the way up to $997. Is there such a thing as a high ticket DIY product? Yes, there is, but we have to talk before we can. We have to walk before we can run. Now, the purpose of this book is to help you turn your passion into profits. In the future, we will help you ignite your income using more of a high ticket approach. Okay, but look at that. We've actually got another book title, Zach. We're going to call the next book, and I think we're going to help you ignite your income. Right? So, but I digress and stick to the point that right now, chances are you need to start your journey with a low ticket in regards to your courses. Example, we have a coach that we serve in Texas by the name of Tony Watley. His coaching program called 365, he has a coaching program called 365 Driven. And he's got multiple layers, okay? Multiple coaching offers ranging from $37 DIY all the way up to $50,000 one-on-one coaching. He also has a best-selling book that you can get on Amazon called Side Hustle Millionaire. Now, this is obviously an introductory product that leads to his other products and services. Now, one of the campaigns that we are currently running for Tony starts at $37. And then once people go through the $37 product, they are offered what we call an upsell. Or another way of describing the next steps is laddering up to another $365 product and service, where he actually offers group coaching for $1 a day. $365 one-time payment. Now, notice the justification of $1 a day. Once again, this is a no-brainer, sneezable offer with the way it's positioned and described. Also notice how much repurposing is happening in a scenario like this. Here's the thing that occurs when you build a community around your DIY product. Now, assuming once again that you're actually doing a great job providing value, the cream rises to the top, meaning the people who started your DIY to either mitigate risk or, for lack of a better term, save money, become conditioned to value their time and hire you to provide them a faster solution. Not only that, the people who actually do value their time more than anything see you as an authority in your space, and you begin to attract more people who want to save time that are willing to pay you for your high ticket one-on-one, or do it with they're willing to pay you for your high ticket one-on-one, do it with you services, or your do it for you services. Now, I promised you that we would share one of our high ticket value stacks at the end of this chapter. And then Zach is going to share a quick value-filled story and formula that will help you on your journey with the third step in marketing and sales, which is your deliverable systems and processes. Now, it says insert one of our value stacks here. What I'm going to do here is very quickly, I'm going to go back to what one of our value stacks should I show, Zach? What would be a good one?
Mr. Donnie.
Mr. Donnie Gupton.
That's a freaking killer value stack.
So as soon as my maybe, how is your internet doing? Because mine is not doing so hot right now. It's not letting me go back.
Mine's going pretty decent today.
How about I give this over to you and you take it away and then go into your part?
Thanks for listening to the Convert on Command podcast, sponsored by Convert on Command and Mission Ignition Marketing. If you want to ignite your business and increase your sales, be sure to visit convertoncommand.pro and set up a time that works best for you in the calendar at the bottom of the page under the latest feature video.
Okay, I'm okay with that. Let me
like that idea.
That particular page.
I can hear the kids in the background. That's so cute.
She's at my door. She's saying, Daddy,
I miss you. Yeah, my wife just texted me too. So
so I gotta go through my part quick.
Everybody wants us, yeah.
All right, I got it up here if you're ready.
Oh, I've made you host, so you're ready to rock.
Oh, okay.
Should be. Oh, but I gotta stop this one. Hold on.
I got you.
You got me. He's got me. So
okay.
For those that are listening, we are literally looking at a value stack right now. And if you want to see this, I'm going to leave a link at the end of this podcast so that you'll actually be able to go and watch and see this illustration. But he's going to actually walk us through this stack.
Now, again, part of what makes the stack impressive is knowing your audience, which is why we went through chapter 7, what we did. Okay. So the way we set this stack up is we talked about a problem and a solution. So the problem, the problem is attracting unqualified leads. The solution is we have a proprietary lead filtering system where we do a ton of research and development, ton of strategy, copywriting and messaging and content, and we have a value amount per item. So a $5,000 value on research and development. And we justify that, like what Brian was saying in the chapter here, we have to justify that. So we tell them, like, no one has world-class research like we do. And we actually had a little pushback on this once. And she was like, yeah, but like, how long does it take you to do that? And my response was, look, it doesn't matter how long it takes me. It's just the fact that I know how and other people don't.
It's kind of like I've heard a story once about the mechanic that came in and like moved one plug and the whole thing started again. And he said, $20,000, thank you. And the guy was like, what are you talking about? It took you 1 second. He was like, yeah, but you guys, how long have you been trying to figure this out?
Yeah.
And you couldn't figure it out. I've spent years to get where I'm at right now to be able to figure out that's what it was. That's what the value is sitting at. Like how much longer would it have taken you to be able to figure that one out?
Exactly. Perfect. Yes. Good example. And then we talk about strategy. It's worth $2,500 to have the right strategy. This is the whole point of the section we're talking about right now. You have the wrong strategy, it's not going to work out so well. Copywriting messaging. Guys, a simple copywriter is going to charge anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000. A medium level copywriter is going to be $15,000 to $30,000, and really high classes, we're talking $50,000 to $100,000 for a copywriting job. And so we are very, very conservative with this number of $10,000.
And I normally chime in here because Zach is very, what's the word I'm looking for? Modest, is it?
Sure.
Like he's very humble, but Zach here has worked with the mentor of mentors. The guy has mentored Tony Robbins, Russell Brunson, like top 2%ers. So a top 2%er copywriter, what they would normally get paid versus the 90th percentile. Well, yeah, there's a big difference there. So like I will normally chime in there and explain and kind of pump up Zach here in our value stacks when we're presenting to an organization or a high level individual, and just really validate why there's so much value behind that and how we're actually downplaying that cost.
Yeah. And we're not going to walk through every value of this entire stack, but that's just examples of how we justify those values. And then we go into content creation is $5,000 value majorly. That's easy.
And so if you bring it actually down, like you said, if we can go with a total value after everything here is.
Yeah. So we come up with a total value of $49,000 for all of our services, right? And then what we do for this particular individual, because he's a big spender, okay? He's a bigger client than most starting out with us. And so what we did is we broke down our typical 3 packages. So we have a pro package and how it's normally $5,000 month 1, followed by $2,500 a month after that. And then we go into advanced. It's normally $10,000 month 1 and $5,000 a month after that. And then we go to elite, which is normally $20,000 month 1 and $10,000 a month after that. That includes the ad spend. We actually broke down the ad spend versus the service fees, and you can actually see it's the $10,000 a month. That's $6,000 a month in service fees plus $4,000 spent to the ads. That equals your $10,000 a month, right? So the reason we broke this down for this person is because he was already spending $4,000 a month, which fits under elite package. So we literally wrote that out. You are currently paying $4,000 in ad spend. Normally, that kind of spend falls under our elite package, and our normal price is $6,000 plus an additional $10,000 for the first month to cover the setup costs. However, for Donnie Gupton only, right? For our client only, this is not acceptable anywhere else. We're going to put together a 2-month relationship building offer. And what we're going to do is we're going to waive the $10,000 onboard fee, and we're going to drop our service fee by 50% for month 1 and 2. What that means is he's only going to have to pay us $3,000 a month for both months 1 and 2, following our normal prices thereafter, assuming profitable results.
Yeah, and this is also important because I think I've chatted about this a few other times beforehand, but this is, again, understanding how people value their time and their money, right? We already knew a little bit of his, like, we're not a cookie cutter agency, right? Like we do, like, as you saw, we have 3 packages. That's what we normally base what we're doing on. Okay. Yeah. Like if we're meeting somebody for the first time, they just land in those 3. But and here's the thing, after some research and understanding what Donnie Gupton's scenario was, we knew we wanted to make a no-brainer scenario for him. We want to work with him. We want to work with people. We love being creative. We want to see you win. We want to make it make sense to you with where you're at and how you value time and money. There are some guys, like one of my mentors, he talks about, look, I've got like 8 and 9 figure earners that will literally come to my office and pay me like $70,000 to sit down with me for a weekend. And I just pump this stuff out. Right. And then for the same guy, the next weekend, he meets a Donnie Gupton and he puts together a package like this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's like, again, how do these guys, Donnie Gupton's not an 8 or 9 figure earner yet. Okay.
Yeah.
And he didn't come to me saying he wanted to spend time with me for the weekend either. Right. So like with the approach, we customized it to what made sense. We created a no-brainer for him.
And this is an example. This is a little bit more complicated of a value stack than what you normally see, but this is what we do. We feel context is king, and by illustrating every little bit in the reasoning behind our price points, it just makes it to where people can't argue it at all. They're like, dude, this is a deal. This is a steal. It's a no-brainer, right? And that's exactly what Brian's talking about in that part of the chapter.
Absolutely. And so we're going to go deeper into that, by the way, in the next chapter. So you don't want to miss it, because Zach is actually going to break down. I showed you and I talked about what you need to do. He's going to show you how on a deeper level.
Yes. And
which is
so fun.
Yeah. Which gets really exciting. Was there anything else that I had to say here up here, Zach, after that? Yeah, I'll take it over here. So can you see? Okay. Can you see how we justified every unique selling proposition in that stack with the problems in conjunction with the solutions, which help drive the reason for the value? A lot of the times, as we are breaking down the stack, we will also offer examples as to what needs to be done in every area, coupled with a story, which you got to see that it was illustrated, okay, of our experiences with our clients to help bring everything home. Now I'm going to let Zach take it away. Thank you. Brian Chamberlain, awesome. CEO and partner of Convert on Command. Have a good day.
So, guys, I'm just letting you know, this is gold. This is gold. These 3 steps: a clear message that converts, an offer that inspires your audience to action, okay, which is what we just went over. And now we're going to go part 3 here. This is every business, if they understand these 3 things, they will succeed, okay? So here's what I got. My part. Number 3, how do you create a delivery system that over-delivers on both expectation and experience? Okay. It all boils down to a simple formula: results plus relationships equals retention. In order to hold on to clients month after month, you have to deliver the results that they want while maintaining an amazing working relationship. I have so many examples of this, but I'm going to try to choose the ones that best illustrate the good times and the challenging times in business. So let's talk about the good times first. This is all about what happens when everything is smooth sailing. I have a very specific example that I'll share in a moment. But first, I have to point out that my first marketing agency went from 0 to just scraping 7 figures in 14 months with that formula. How? We focused on results plus relationships equals retention, and just got 1 or 2 sales every month. That's it. Within 14 months, we had almost 30 7- and 8-figure dollar earners on our roster paying month after month. Now for specifics. The best example I have for this is our client who sells artificial turf products. I'm going to refer to this client as Steve, since he's our main contact with the company. They were looking for leads of people looking to buy turf for their yard, their pet area, putting greens, you name it. Before working with us, they had an agency that was delivering good leads. They got the results, right? Steve expressed that they were enjoying the lead flow and the conversations with those leads. But anytime Steve asked for certain data or stats, it would take a week or more before they would respond. He was getting the result, but had no relationship. This is why it's key to have both. Signing on with us, we made it clear we wanted both. And to be honest, Steve is actually a super cool guy, and both Brian and I could see ourselves having a barbecue with him. We started running ads, and we're getting
totally, absolutely, 110%. As a matter of fact, we got to find another time to have a barbecue with him as part of one of our celebrations for hitting goals.
Oh
We
yeah,
should,
we
we
need
should
to do
totally
that.
do that. Go down there and
End
see him.
end of quarter two, man. Let's
Yeah, yeah, totally.
barbecue in California.
I love it. I love it. So
Steve's a
good.
great guy.
Yeah.
So we started running ads and we were getting about the same amount of leads as the last agency at first. Okay. But the biggest differentiator is that we were sending him weekly video reports on the ads and the progress. So, guys, let me just real quick insert here. If we kept the same results as the last agency, but we were reporting weekly and communicating properly, he would have kept us as his agency. But we weren't just satisfied with that. By the end of month one, we took lead cost from $80 per lead down to $10 per lead. The best part is Steve had all the data and info, and he didn't even have to ask for it. For month two, we didn't have to let him know, hey, we'll send you an invoice. Steve texted us and asked us to send him the invoice so that he can make sure it's taken care of. How many of us want a client that asks to pay? Results plus relationship equals retention. So not only that, but they are now working on setting us up with their parent company who will have 30 locations for us to service. That one job could create millions of dollars in revenue because of this simple formula. Now, let's talk about the challenging times. A little fair warning on this. We're being very vulnerable here. Brian and I experience challenges just like any other business. These are examples of how important relationships are in this equation. Sometimes things don't go according to plan. I have two key examples of how the relationship held the retention long enough for us to get that result during tough times. The worst situation I was ever in when it came to a lack of results actually comes from my first agency. We had this business coach who wanted us to promote a webinar to a sales page. Typically, the biggest hurdle for that kind of a campaign is getting the actual sale. We felt good about this because the client had done it before, and we felt we could improve on the data we had. However, that's not how it worked out. We were struggling to get anyone to even register for the webinar. And by struggling, I mean we were getting 0 leads for the entire first month. That said, I kept her up to date every week and sometimes more than once a week, showing her everything we were doing to fix the problem. At the end of month one, she decided she wanted to pay us again because she believes we're close and we'll get it. Month two, we got a small trickle of registrations, but still nothing substantial. Again, I kept her hyper engaged in the process and was 100% transparent the whole time. She decided to pay us one more time for a third month to figure out the campaign. Month three, we cracked it. The problem was literally the color of the pop-up on the registration page. I know, it's so ridiculous. I couldn't believe that was the problem.
We're literally dealing with something similar right now. Yeah. We're literally dealing with the same similar thing happening right now and we're putting our own money into it right now.
Yes.
This is crazy. Keep going. Sorry.
And dude, like the exact same results. Awesome click rates.
The click-through rates are insane. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but no one was actually registered.
Yeah.
She went on. So we cracked the problem. It was a problem with the color on the pop-up of all things. She went on to pay us all the way until I sold my shares to the company, and she became extremely profitable because of her patience and trust in us. That trust is only built when relationship is a focus point. My second example is much more recent, and it blew our minds. Brian and I have a client. She's a very private person, so for now, we'll just call her Cindy. Cindy hired us to bring in some leads of people looking to sell their home. She was very skeptical at the start, but she trusted us enough to get the process started. We ran 30 days, and she got about 18 leads. Out of those 18, however, only 2 were kind of qualified. The rest were a complete waste of time. That is not an acceptable result. Again, we communicated with her every step of the way, and she expressed how grateful she was that we were so transparent. At the end of month one, we met to discuss what we'll do in the future. Long story short, Brian and I decided to put her account on hold while we spend our own money to test a campaign.
I didn't even read this. Amazing.
Yeah, it's exactly what you're talking about.
So good. Yeah.
We wanted to make sure that we can get the result before spending her money again. Again, guys, relationship is the focus here. This is where it gets interesting. She called us to let us know she was approached by another agency claiming they can provide the same kind of leads that we were trying to get, except their price point was significantly cheaper. My first gut reaction was that of disappointment because I didn't want to lose her as a client. We love and respect Cindy, and we want nothing but success for her. However, to my pleasant surprise, she wasn't telling us that she was making a switch. Instead, she liked us and our relationship focus so much that she wants to test the new agency out and give us the inside scoop with working with them, with what's working with them and what's not working. At the end of the day, none of us knows if the new company is actually going to get the result, but we do know that Cindy will choose us over them the moment we're confident with this result. I'm being very vulnerable by sharing these stories. Go ahead.
And it's crazy because she sees so much opportunity in this thing too, where she's like, she kind of wants to go recon, and she'll pay to get the right information so that we can finally crack this code. Again, like, you got to be careful though too, because like over there, they're focused in one specific area and one specific city. And honestly, there are some things we are seeing that don't add up with what we know. So it's going to be interesting to see how this materializes. But obviously Zach is keeping everybody posted. So keep on going.
Exactly.
Keep cruising. I love it.
We'll
absolutely love it.
We'll probably update that story too as time goes on.
Oh, totally.
So I'm being very vulnerable by sharing these stories. Brian and I know sales and marketing like the back of our hands, but it's important to understand that we hit some challenges along the way like everyone else. We are hyper committed to our clients and the results and relationship, and they know that. This is the key to retaining clients every month. My last agency did well, but Brian and I are going to surpass it in terms of growth and speed because we already have this formula down pat. Always remember, results plus relationship equals retention.
That was magic, Zach. That was really, really beautiful. Like, guys, just want you to know, like, how, like we were talking about in previous chapters about taking imperfect action. Like, we've forgot a little bit this week. It's like we normally prep. I thought he was just going to take over the whole chapter and I was just going to show up and like, intro it. And like, it's been crazy. I've been in the middle of moving and all that kind of stuff. And yesterday we were like, like, no, you actually have to write some of this. We actually have to work. And so we're like, okay, well, how do we do this? And I was like, well, it's systems that sell. Well, we already know the 3 steps to marketing and sales. So let's break down those 3 things. What are you going to tackle? Well, he's going to tackle step number 3. I'll tackle step number 1 and 2. And like, he literally sent me a version of this morning. I didn't get to read it. He just was basically showing me it was done. And then I stayed in bed this morning. My wonderful wife brought me breakfast and I was on my phone, speaking into my phone and getting this thing written like that way. Like, I wasn't typing it with my thumbs. I was, using the little speaker, and like, there's no excuses, y'all. Yeah. Like, you can do this. You can turn your passion into profits. We've committed to writing this book. We committed to a specific sequence of how we're going to do it, and you can too. There's no reason. Again, these phones that we got in our hands, they got more technology in the palm of our hands than we did when we landed the first guy on the moon. And some people will argue that didn't even happen, but yet we've got Mr. $1 billion, what's his Tesla, what's his name? Elon Musk. He's only one of my favorite entrepreneurs. But anyway, he's basically creating colonies up in space.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Like, look what we can. No excuse. Absolutely no excuse. Just throwing it out there and put yourself out there. Like, how many mistakes did I make on this thing today? I'm having fun. Let's have some fun. And we're just being real. I love how authentic that was, Zach. Like, I didn't even know you were going to go there on a podcast. Holy crap. Talk about like, you're throwing out all the dirty laundry.
That's right.
I love it. So anyways, I promised you guys that I was going to tell you where you can actually get this video. So if you actually go to go.convertoncommand / passion of profits, and then if you go to, this is chapter 8, right? Yeah, chapter 8. I actually have to update all of this material on this page. I'm showing you, and it's not done yet, but you will be able to go to go.convertoncommand.pro/passion to profits chapter 8. And so that's /passion -2 -profits -chapter -8, or you can do all one word without the dashes. And I'll just illustrate that this actually works. Make sure it does. And it works. So passion to profits chapter 8. So go.convertoncommand.pro/passion to profits chapter 8. You'll be able to actually watch the video. You can actually read the rough chapter. You can listen to it on the podcast, and you can actually submit your video responses to this whole thing. Okay. Like we have this app called Video Ask. It's all embedded in the site. And we ask you a few specific questions every week. What was your biggest takeaway from chapter 7? What was your biggest question? What's your biggest piece of advice on where we're going? And then how can we best serve you moving forward? Those are the 4 questions. You can literally press play and get context around the questions every week. And then you can decide to submit a video, audio, or text. I always suggest video. Love to see from you. And we might even respond to you via video as well. Especially if you're an Inner Circle member. How do you become an Inner Circle member, Zach?
Yeah, you can actually sign up for our Passion to Profits program. Right now, the prices are actually pretty awesome. So right now, by the end of the year, it's going to be a lot higher. But right now, you can sign up for either a one-time payment of $300 or 3 payments of $120. And the next batch starts April 1st.
And just know too that like this comes with a coaching program where like,
Yes.
So not only do you get like the craziness of this is you'll get the ebook, you'll always get updated. Like it's basically you're becoming a P2P rock star. And I think we need to add more context to this because this is really turning into an amazing community, passion to profits community.
We already have a guy that quit his job. We have so much happening.
And actually, one of our Inner Circle group members, believe it or not, this sounds so stretched. It is insane.
It's true.
But $100 million, a bid, okay? Yeah. We're still learning a little bit more about this, but he basically round robin and found a whole bunch of investors and people to create a board for like this purchase that he's doing in the medical field. And he's basically facilitating, basically being a joint venture individual. And he put together $100 million bid that is going through processes right now. That it's crazy. It's a crazy story that's developing right now. And we're just and that's also an individual that quit his job months ago. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm not telling you that you need to quit your job but ultimately our goal is to help you turn your passion into profit so you can fire your boss.
Yeah.
That's the goal.
That's it.
Right. And so like, as we move forward, we're constantly going to be writing books like this. Like we got the title for the next one already today. You got to witness it firsthand. We got to Ignite Your Income is the next one. We're going to go into some serious high ticket stuff next book. Okay. That just literally it materialized today. Okay, but here's what you're going to get, right? The book, the ebook, the audio, the copy, the course, the weekly coaching, unlimited websites and funnel CRM. You're going to get software, grandfathered lifetime access, and your name credited in this book as a founder of this book. And as a Passion to Profits Inner Circle member, I'm going to add to this and say that as we continue to build more products and services, you will get access to those things. Like if we're doing another book, you'll get another book. You'll probably have your name credited in that too, because you're part of the community with that. Right. And so right now we're saying the total value of this is like, let's say $5,286. We talked about a stack today. Let's just say that's what it is, but the price is going to go up soon. We promise you that. You do want to get on the waiting list for April 1st, 2021. And what I mean by waiting list is like, you'll actually be joining the group. I think actually, Zach, we should just change that. They can jump in and they'll continuously roll through this, right? Because I don't think that it's going to be bad for you to jump in on chapter 8 and then continue in the coming months over at chapter 1. Like, what do you think of that, Zach? Does it really matter?
Yeah, I think it's okay. Yeah.
Because I mean, we've had people actually do that. We've got one of the coaches that we have right now in Las. Was he in Las Vegas?
Which one?
Where's Zach from? Zach's in Vegas, isn't he?
Oh yeah, Vegas. Yep.
Yeah. So the other Zach Smith, he's actually one of our inner circle members of this now. He's actually in Vegas, and he jumped in literally last week. So he would have just kind of got the butt end of chapter 6, and he's fired up. So I don't see why we need to have this here. We're going to make some updates to this pages, but look, now it's $120 a month, like a month times 3 months, and you'll be grandfathered for this so that you can continue to be in the community for that. And as this price raises with everything that you're getting, you're going to constantly stay at that price point, so long as you're continuing with it. So you can either do a one-time payment every 3 months at $300 or a monthly payment of $120 USD times 3 months. And again, there's a new book. I think a new book every year. It's just where my gut is pulling me right now. And that's what I'm getting a sense of. And I thought I was sharing the screen there, but I wasn't.
It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah. All good in the hood. He got it. And I think that you will understand this too, just by hearing and seeing. And again, we're not claiming to be perfect. We're claiming to be human and having fun doing what we love most with who we love most. So that's it from us this week. Thanks so much for being a part of Passion to Profits, being a part of the Convert on Command podcast, being a part of this community. And we look forward to having you in the coming weeks.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers.
Thanks for listening to the Convert on Command podcast, sponsored by Convert on Command and Mission Ignition Marketing. If you want to ignite your business and increase your sales, be sure to visit convertoncommand.pro and set up a time that works best for you in the calendar at the bottom of the page under the latest feature video.